Umar. We got two of them. One of the students is about to come in now.
Is that a D or a P, doctor?
For sure, got to be their last name. Oh yeah, that's their first. I don't know if they last name.
Is it Gary? Let's finally go.
How we doing? How we doing? How we doing?
What's your name?
Nassim.
Nassim.
What's the
other
So you from here?
Yeah, good hands and stuff.
Not too far.
How you doing? Good. What's your name?
Nassim.
We basically won't let them swim and hang out till 8. We want dinner at 8 in the restaurant here. Lights out at 10. We're pulling out at 7:30 in the morning for the Malcolm X dinner. It's gonna be some early mornings, but you're gonna have some fun, all right? You're gonna have some fun, I guarantee you that. You won't be the same 40%. I promise. What's your name, right? Nothing you need to sign. Nothing you need to sign. Give your mommy a hug. Your mom for the next 2 weeks, hug her tight. Tomorrow morning, y'all need to be down here for breakfast at 6:30. Y'all want to go to bed at 10, okay? Because you got to rise 8. You go to bed at 10, that's a good 8 hours sleep. Get up at 6, be down here by 6:30. We are on that bus at 7:30, okay? Wear your white t-shirt. Have a backup shirt in case you decide to change, okay?
All right, push them back in. I gotta tighten them up.
Over 2 hours. Anyone. What makes the so-called Negro unable to stand on his own 2 feet? He has no self-confidence. He has no proud confidence in his own race. Because the white man destroyed your and my past, destroyed our knowledge of our culture. And by having destroyed it, now we don't know we have any achievements, any accomplishments. And as long as you can be convinced that you never did anything, you can never do anything.
February 21st, as he began his speech, Malcolm X was assassinated. His death silenced one of Black America's most influential, controversial leaders. Since his death, the Audubon has become an important memorial. Planting and other remembrances have been added to the building in his honor in the hearts and minds of many African Americans. Malcolm lives.
Yes, and Malcolm traveled to Egypt twice, and it represents really his world travel. Malcolm X is an international figure, he's not just a national figure. He traveled to the Middle East, he traveled to Europe, he traveled all over Africa, of course all over the United States. And his messaging is really international. About half the people that come here to this memorial site are from overseas, right? So it's just an indication. I didn't even realize how strong his international presence was until I started working here. Folks from all around the world really visiting him more than people come from the United States, they come from across the world, right?
To be African living in America, I feel like it's an honor of reward. I feel greatness, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people would not want you to have that. It actually may feel intimidated, so instead they would like to eliminate you or a lot of times degrade you. So to me, it's a blessing.
That's how I get down. And it took me years because I used to be self-centered, thought it was all about me. Yes, I did. I used to think, I'm the man, you know who I am, son? You know, it's crazy, you know, because all that can be, boom, taken away just like that. They kick my behind out of here, nobody will know who I am in 2 weeks. I've seen it happen. In 2 weeks, people forgot all about it. All forgot about this Mr. Apollo thing. But I want to leave something behind, you know, once I'm gone, that people won't forget. It don't have to be about me. I want to leave the truth behind. That's why I'm telling people things that I found out, that I learned from Ralph Cooper and Sandman and all the ancestors. I learned stuff, so I'm trying to share it, so we stop believing all this stuff that we think is real. Gentlemen, we have a special guest coming up later on, but I want y'all to think about it, so y'all got to come up and do something. All right, our first performer, this young man, is just, I saw him last night on Jimmy Kimmel, and I said, man, I got to call up his agent and get this man here. He's here, ladies and gentlemen, get up my man, Orange Peel. Orange Peel, Orange Peel, yes, sir. I love my man, that's right.
All right.
OP.
I'm spitting, here we go. I'll spit fire, I spit that flame. Yo, my raps might be lame, but just know that I'm gonna set the whole world ablaze. Yo, I don't even know, but I'm gonna keep it rapping because I want to keep on going with the show. I'm done.
Give it up for my man, Orange Peel.
Yes, sir. ODZ.
Straight from the dome, that's creativity.
I like that. Good job, little brother.
Got a lot of records back at home. Been collecting them ever since I was a little boy. See, before I volunteered, every Sunday noon we have listening parties on my porch.
Thank you. Oh, God bless you. Thank you, for sure. You guys have a good night, all right?
Does anybody know what all this land is? Like what the land on? Farmland?
Plantations?
Actually, all of this was a plantation. The city of Bowie was a plantation. It was known for the horses. That's what, they bred horses over here. Matter of fact, right across the street is in fact a horse farm where they still breed horses. So how Bowie State originally started is that we decided, after of course Emancipation Proclamation and all that, that we wanted to educate our people. So Bowie State actually started as a college for teachers. And it started out in Baltimore actually, at the African Baptist Church in Baltimore. And that's how it started. And it stayed there for about 2 years until members of local law enforcement, lawyers, doctors, clergymen, all black folks, petitioned the state of Maryland to get the funds to make something like this for us, so that we would have a place to call our own and not be bouncing around from place to place in Baltimore. So we didn't move here until the 1800s. And none of this was here. All we had was a building. There was one building. Who's the college named after? Kind of after the city. The land that we are on right here, it's over 100 acres of land. It was called the Jericho Farm. And the state of Maryland bought it for about $5,300. And they bought this all for us, basically, so we would leave them alone.
Okay, we're gonna keep it positive, but I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because Dr. Yusuf bin Yaqanan is not only one of our most published ancestors, our greatest Egyptologist, Africologist, Pan-Africanist, and Garveyite, one of them of the modern times. This brother who gave his time selflessly, he's the one who started the trips back and forth to Africa. He's one of those grand master teachers who used to take brothers and sisters back and forth to Africa. This was him. He started that. Okay, Dr. Ben, friend of Malcolm X, friend of Dr. John Henry Clark. I heard him for the first time at Howard University. I was a freshman student at Millersville University in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I was 18, and after I heard him speak, I said, I'm gonna get every book that man wrote. I was already into black consciousness, but he took me to a whole nother level. I'm upset right now because we buried him last year. How does a man of that stature not have a faceplate? Are y'all following me? It's been over a year. How long does it take to get a faceplate for this man? So you mean to tell me an ancestor like Dr. Ben is buried here and there's no recognition of his name? Okay? So I know some of the relatives, I'm gonna hit them up. Maybe they just need a couple more dollars, I'll pay it. I'll pay for the faceplate. And I want everybody in Facebook land to know, get in contact with the family of Dr. Yusuf bin Yaqanan and let them know that Dr. Umar Johnson says he will pay for the faceplate. I love this man, and that's why I made it a point to come to his funeral. I had a lecture in Detroit, no, Lansing or somewhere, and I canceled my lecture to come back here for Dr. Ben's funeral. So I'm upset that he don't have no faceplate. But I'm gonna honor him, Dr. Yusuf bin Yaqanan, on this hallowed ground. Elder, I call upon you in the name of Almighty God and the collective ancestral spirits. I ask you to bless all these young people. Bless all these young people, Dr. Ben, who have come out on this first annual college tour. Bless them. Let us have safe travels as we go all across the country to all the different states and cities and colleges and universities and other black attractions that we know of. So, brothers, so Dr. Ben, as you bless these young people, I ask that you bless me. Give me the strength, the courage, the insight, the willpower, the consciousness, the knowledge, the perseverance, the dedication to keep on doing the work that I'm doing to build the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Okay, to continue with the college tour, to continue helping the parents, to build the National Independent Black Parent Association, Dr. Ben. We come here to honor you as we've honored Dr. Khalid, as we've honored young Malcolm Shabazz, and we're going to try to go and honor El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X, after we visit your grave. I had no idea, ancestor, that you did not have a faceplate. I had no idea, ancestor, that with all these so-called scholars running around the country, that we have left your grave without a marker. That is totally disrespectful, and it is totally unacceptable. No scholar should be content with such a great grandmaster teacher as Dr. Yusuf bin Yaqanan being here, Ferncliff Cemetery, been buried for over a year with no faceplate. That is unacceptable. Y'all keep talking how much y'all love to be black. Y'all keep talking this Egypt crap. Y'all keep talking how great you love African culture. And here's a man who taught most of you, and you haven't even made sure that this man got a marker. But we're going to keep it positive for the children. Dr. Ben, we are here to pay homage to you. Ashe, my brother, Ashe. I'm so hurt that you had to live in a Jewish nursery home. A Jewish nursery home. As much as Dr. Ben had to talk about white racism to educate us, they let him die in a Jewish nursery home? You mean to tell me that we couldn't have paid for Dr. Ben to be cared for by black people in his own home? All these doctors, all these nurses, all these Hotep conscious speakers, we couldn't have raised that money? Not acceptable. And y'all can quote me, it's not acceptable. But I will get in contact with the family, Dr. Ben. I'm gonna make sure you get a faceplate. I'm gonna make sure you get a faceplate. Because I gotta get one for my elder as well, Dr. Taharka, Dr. Leophas King, the black man who made sure that I earned my doctorate degree. If that black man was not on my doctoral committee, I would have never got my doctorate. No white folks tried to sabotage the hell out of me. And he got me through my dissertation, and he died. He died right after I defended my dissertation. He made sure I got a doctorate before he went on back to heaven. So I got to get him a faceplate too. So Dr. Ben, we just here to say we love you, we honor you, faceplate or no faceplate. You're one of the most honorable men I ever met in my life. I had a chance to meet you on 2 or 3 occasions. You may never know my name, but I will always and forever remember yours. And your books will be taught at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. Every book you wrote will be required text. Repeat after me. Ashe. 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 May God be with you, Doc. All right, Joe.
I can't believe we won 5 basketballs. 3 of them were me. 1, 2, and one of these is third one.
How does it feel to hit 3 shots, win 3 basketballs today?
It feels awesome. And then I went
in the first 15 minutes.
And then I won these 2 things. I'm gonna give them to my sisters.
We out here because we unapologetically African and we out here winning. You feel me? Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
3rd time.
I couldn't feel nothing in my stomach, bro. Oh, you know it?
The African American Holocaust Museum really got me because all of the there's things were artificial. They were real, so you can already feel the presence of the enslaved Africans that were put in chains and whipped and hung. So you could just feel the presence, and it was really like emotional.
And cleaned it up. If you notice, it's still coming apart. And I put a sealer on it so it would not come apart anymore, but it's still falling apart. It's that old. And what it is, I put a hinge in it and I cut it so I could use it. So when I take it to the schools, I could do like this. It's like that. And what it does, it has a chain here and a chain in the back. And what it is, as you pull people along, you wind up in a 50-man coffle, you wind up losing your head if you fall down. The coffle will not stop. It won't stop because it doesn't know you're even on it. But we're moving you to market. Okay? You want to touch it, old timer?
Take it 2 ways. Being an African living in America means I'm forcefully living here. Even though I was born here, for me, I don't feel as if I should be here. And then also there's another way. I'm another person living in the world, another culture living in the world. But if you think about it, my culture must be pretty high in esteem, because it seems like every time I look around, somebody's copying something.
Hey, shake your hands. We about to get a private tour. It's close at 5. We about to get a private tour. Come on now. I understand the Black Power movement. We gotta learn, but it's close at 5. It's 5:46. It's 5:46. Come on.
Created this memorial a couple of years ago. There were protests here because a lot of black activists in Philadelphia, like Attorney Michael Court, said, how can you be building a monument for the President of the United States, George Washington, who, by the way, owned over 200 slaves himself.
360.
Okay. And guess what else? When his teeth would rot, George Washington would get the teeth of his slaves pulled out and put in his mouth. Most of his teeth were the teeth of the slaves. Now remember, back then you didn't have modern surgical equipment. So they just yanked the teeth out. You know how sensitive your teeth can be because there's a nerve under every tooth. They would yank the teeth out of the slave's mouth and then implant them into George Washington's mouth. Yes, indeed. This is how brutal. This is why I don't see how black parents can let black children pledge the flag of the United States. When you really know what that flag represents, how do you let your son or daughter go to school every day and put their hand on their heart and pledge allegiance to the country that did this and continues to do this? That's why I've never pledged allegiance and I never will.
It means we better than everybody else, but we still get segregated. It's just not as open. You don't see it as much. You don't recognize it.
After the mother escaped.
15 years after. So,
the New Jersey.
Peter had no idea.
So William still decides he's going to record all the people who escape on the Underground Railroad, and he ends up records in a book that's about 800 pages long, about 800 escapes from this region on the Underground Railroad. A number of them include Caroline County, but not a great number, maybe a dozen, because most of the blacks were free in Caroline County. But one of the ones he records are Harriet Tubman's parents. He says, fled from Caroline County, Maryland, 1857. Probably need to move on.
Anyway, and that definitive book is so helpful for us in doing research because it documents. And one of the things that was so interesting about what he did when he wrote in the book was he would ask people, what was your name if you knew it? Why did you leave? And that was where you get some answers on why they left. It might not be just abuse, it'd be because their other family members were sold south, or they knew they were going to be sold south and it was the end of the road. They had no other choice but to run away. But those things are so helpful. If they have scars on them, William still wrote that in there, and it's so interesting to see that. You had a question?
It's sticky. No, don't eat that. No, because it's not clean. It's sticky. But you see, the bees create this. This one is not as sticky. They create this. See how they make these little cells? And what they make is really wax. They make that with their bodies. And that's why Banneker and other people who lived in this time period were smart, because they knew how to survive. This wax is then used, they would melt it and make candles so they could see at night. There was no electricity, so you couldn't go in and flip on a switch. And then the bees put honey inside of these little cells so they could use the honey to sweeten their food, because sugar was very, very expensive. And they use beeswax for everything. They put in a lipstick. You need to lubricate your tools. And this is a beeswax candle. So, and you can touch all of this. And then a beekeeper gave this to me a long time ago. Don't open it because it's sticky. That's why I put. So you can see a lot of honey inside of here. So I left that there. You can look. And then. Benjamin Banneker observed the things around him. He was an astronomer, right? So he also observed the things that were in nature. And right here's a writing about his bees and their habits. So you might want to take a picture and you could blow it up later and read it. And he was always up at night watching the planets. He recorded their movements and stuff. That's how he could make predictions. And what do you... Doing the juice. You want crab?
Yeah.
Want fish?
probably been like F Doug, talking to people, teaching them about what they didn't know, pushing for freedom for people, and then after that, still pushing, and then moving on to other things that may have not even involved me, like women's rights.
Now, 18 months after Anna's death is when he gets married to his second wife, Helen. Her image.
I really took interest in what's called Norfolk State University, and I took interest in Morgan State University. So I'm gonna choose between those two.
We have a computer lab. Every building and every residence hall on our campus has a computer lab. No excuses why you can't get your work done. You can't go to your professor and be like, oh, my laptop broke, the cord broke. No excuses. So we're gonna head on up. There is a bathroom on the second floor, as well as we have our Spartan Cafe over here that is one of our affiliations of Starbucks.
I think all of them are great. My favorite one would probably be the Great Blacks in Wax, because it just showed everything that happened. And it's like you were there and you could see everything that happened to our people.
According to Nat Turner, he spent most of his time praying and fasting. That means studying. And when you study, you acquire knowledge of self. And when you acquire proper knowledge of self, you discover what your life mission is. Everyone has a mission, and Nat Turner found his while he was away for that 30 days. And once you find out what your mission is, you have no excuse than to go to work to try to fulfill that mission.
And now we want to call on Nat Turner. A moment of silence for Reverend Nat Turner. A moment of silence. August the 21st is coming up soon. The day of the revolution. We all want to remember him on the day of the revolution. August the 21st, Ashe. Ashe. Moment of silence for the Reverend Nat Turner. Ashe. Ashe. Now we want to call on you, Reverend Nat Turner, and not only you, but your band of comrades, the brothers and sisters who helped you fight that war, the ones who helped out, the ones who provided information, the ones who provided weapons. We want to call on that entire Southampton County Revolutionary Army. Ashe. We want to ask you to give us the power that we need to fight against white supremacy today. Ashe. We want to ask you to give us the courage that we need to stand up against injustice. Ashe. We want to ask you that you give us that selfless spirit to think first of race before we think of ourselves. Ashe. We ask Nat Turner to bless all these young people on the college tour, to bless Elder Khalifa, bless Sister Crystal, Queen Mother, bless the chaperones, Brother Cody the driver, bless us to go back home and fight with the spirit of Nat Turner for African redemption. Ashe. No matter how many black men and women are murdered by police, we shall never resolve to give up our manhood or womanhood to the devil. Ashe. The cracker shall never win over the African. Ashe. We will overcome this situation no matter how dark the night may get, no matter how bleak the morning may be. African redemption will survive. Ashe. We call on all the ancestral powers and energies to come with us, to wake us up, to work with us, because African redemption is more than a dream. It must be a reality. Ashe. Nat Turner be with us. Ashe. Nat Turner never leave us. Ashe. Forever we shall never forget you, Nat Turner. Ashe. 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 All right.